Welcome, beloved. It's Sunday, 9th of March, 2025, and it's our weekly live stream podcast on Fini TV. With you today is your favorite presenter, Young Stephanie, and this program was launched officially on 14th of February this year, and it's so interesting that we have commenced properly. It's happening every Sunday by 4 p.m. and every month has its own theme, and each of the Sundays in the month we dissect and discuss that topic throughout the month. And on today's discussion, we'll be dealing with the human mind, and I bet you would not want to you will not want to miss this discussion. So it's really interesting to know that by the special grace of God we'll be riding on this journey for as long as God will help us. Okay, so we have to pray before we commence further. If this is your first time coming across our channel, please do well to subscribe at Fini TV, Fini_TV, so that you could join our community for all of the exciting programs that we do here on YouTube via our channel and across other social media platforms. So thank you so much for coming across our video. So I'm a believer, and this platform is to God's glory, because sharing knowledge is the goal, whereas Jesus remains the message. So let us pray. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Most heavenly and precious Father, thank you for a moment like this. Thank you for this platform, which is your platform across the globe, for you to talk to the hearts of many through the topics that will be discussed even today and beyond today. So Lord, I ask that you take control. Let our hearts and the hearts of as many that will come across this video come to the knowledge of the right thing, like what they are supposed to know, and let your name be glorified. Thank you, Father, for in Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Amen. Okay, welcome again once again. It's your favorite girl, Young Stephanie. Don't forget, this is Fini TV, and this is Livestream Podcast, our weekly Livestream podcast on Life Talk series. All right. So on today's discussion, we'll be dealing with the human mind. Okay, so a lot of persons do not pay much attention to the mind. Yeah, that's the exact truth. A whole lot of persons, they don't pay much attention to the human mind, to the mind that they have. Like how important your mind is, how spectacular the human mind is. They don't give importance to it. So that is why it is part of what we are discussing on Life Talk series. Remember, Life Talk series, when we launched it, we talked about all of the mandates and everything, the goals, everything that it entails. So if you have not watched that launching, you better go back and watch it, because it was so interesting. It happened on Valentine's Day, and it was so interesting. All right, so the human mind, let's look at the human mind. Let's talk about the human mind. All right, so because today is the first day we'll be talking about this particular topic, so we'll do more of introduction to this topic so that everyone could come to the reality of what the topic is all about. So the human mind, your mind is your tool for your desired change. Your mind is your tool for your desired change. So you could literally produce what you want because you have captured it in your mind. You could literally bring it into existence because the mind have received it. So of recent, I started morning routine exercise, and when I first started, it was like I could not go on with it. And I've seen a lot of persons struggle with that, like you just give yourself, you say, this is part of my goal this year. Like, I'm going to do morning routine exercise. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Or you list out a whole lot of things. You have listed out the things that you will eat, the ones you will not eat, the things that you will work on. And then you struggle with it along the way. You struggle with that same thing, that same same goals, the same things, the same plans that you've had, you start struggling with them. You see yourself just having issues trying to relate with them. So I know how it feels, because I've been in that shoe before. I tried, like, the first few days, I would wake up and I'll feel so tired. I'll feel so exhausted. Sometimes I feel pains all over my body. Like, I feel pains. I want to I want to really do this, but because how my body is feeling, how my body is trying to weigh me down, I will not want to go. But because the mind has accepted, the mind is ready. That's why I said the spirit is ready, but the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak, but the spirit is ready. So I will wake up in the morning, I will feel so exhausted, I will feel tired, body pain. It will look as if I cannot do it. But because my mind is set to do it. My mind, I've already made up my mind that yes, I'll go on this morning routine exercise every morning. I'll go on it. So each time I wake up, no matter how weak my body feels, no matter how exhausted I feel, no matter how it's looking as though I cannot do this thing, because my mind is already made up, you see me doing it, and I've been doing it, like, and God has been carrying me through, you understand? So your mind is the tool that you need for that desire change. I tell you, once your mind is made up, have you seen a lot of persons that they want to do something, and so many people, or so many things, like situations, maybe something that is happening in their surrounding, their environment, is stopping them from taking such steps, such bold steps. But because their mind is made up, nothing can stop them. Nothing. So that is the same way it is with our life. Remember, it's Life Talk series. That's the same way it is with our life. You understand? So that progress that you want to make, that thing that you want to see to come to reality, that desire that you have, it is in the power of your mind to bring it to reality. So your mind is the tool. If you're discouraged like, if your mind has not accepted that you will do this thing, there is no how you will be able to do it. Because no matter how anyone encourage you, no matter how anyone try to pull you, without the mind accepting that you will do this, so your mind is the exact tool that you need, that you require for that desired change, that change that you want, that progression, that achievement, that thing you want to ascertain. Your mind is the tool. That is it. That's the tool that you. So the human mind is the tool for your desired change. Okay, let's now look at what the mind is. Now, the mind is that which thinks, feels, perceives, imagines, remembers, and wills. Your mind thinks, it feels, it perceives, it imagines. Your mind thinks, it perceives, okay, it feels, it imagines, it remembers, it wills. Your mind is that too. I think, for a person, I think that the best gift God gave to us, the best instrument God inserted in us is the mind. That's the best gift that God gave to human, the mind. And then when the scripture says that God created us in his image and after his likeness, the mind has to do with that. Because in creation, like, you want to bring something into existence, it's your mind. That's why once the mind of anyone is polluted, or once anything tampers with the mind of someone, it automatically affects the entire being, like the whole being. What the person entails, it automatically affects it. So your mind thinks, your mind perceives, your mind feels, your mind imagines, your mind remembers, and then your mind wills. So it is very, very essential and important that you understand that the best instrument that God has imputed in us as human is the mind, the human mind. So what you do with it matters, okay? It is the totality of psychological phenomena and capacities encompassing both conscious and unconscious states. Okay, the human mind is the most complicated organ that nature has ever created. The human mind. Now, remember when I talked about the best instrument that God has given to, or God gave to us, God inserted in us, is the mind. So every other thing that you see, and every other thing that science have told us exists in us, every other thing that science have discovered that makes up the human, that makes up a human being, I think the mind is the most essential, is the most important, is the best tool that we could ever imagine or we could ever think of that God has given to us. So it is that important tool or that important instrument that God has given to mankind. So it is encompassing both your conscious and unconscious states. The human mind is the most complicated organ that nature has ever created. Even science will tell you that. 100 billion nerve cells and many more contact points between them provide our brain with capabilities that no supercomputer can match to this day. Okay, they've tried to create a lot of AI, they've tried to create a lot of robots, they've tried to do a lot of things, but it can never match up to the human mind. It can never. Like, scientifically, they've done all they could. They've tried all they could. They have assessed all they could. They have gone to the extreme. They have tried to. I watched the comic one particular day, and in that comedy, someone, okay, the way they acted it, okay, I think a lecturer and a child, yes, a lecturer, Mark Angel comedy there specifically, a lecturer and then Emanuela. So the lecturer was like, I think Emanuela was singing, talking about God and all of that. So the lecturer was like, Emanuela, can you see God? Emanuela said, no. Said, can you touch God? She said, no. Asking all of the things that science say, anything you cannot see or touch does not exist. So the lecturer now said, that means there is no God, Emanuela. So stop all of this perspective, all of this mentality that you have that a God exists. There is no God. Emanuela now said, okay, wait. Can you see your I think she used sense or she used mind. I don't know. She used sense or mind, something like that. Can you see your sense? Can you touch your sense? All of those things. So the man was like, no, 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 no. But I know that sense exists, you understand? So Emanuela was now like, you don't have sense. So the same way you feel God do not exist because God does not exist because you can't touch him, you can't see him, you can't do this and do that. That's the same way you can't touch your mind, you can't see your mind, all of, but you know that your mind exists. You know you can reason. Like, I'm talking to you now, everything is coming from, I already know that today I'm going to be hosting this program. Understand? I already know that today Live Talk series with Fini is going to be happening today by 4 p.m. So everything about me has been about the program. I want to sleep, I cannot sleep because I am thinking, I am relating, I am perceiving, I'm trying to put myself together. I'm trying to just capture the moment and everything that will be happening through this program, through this platform. So all of it. So that is the mind. I can't see the mind, but it exists. You understand? So all of the things, all of the supercomputers, all of the robots, all of the AIs that they've tried to produce, it cannot match up to the human mind. It cannot. Even scientists, they know very well that it cannot match up to the human mind. So sometimes they will tell you, all of these skills you are learning, this one, there will come a time that AI will take over it, robots will do that and do that. No matter what they produce, even when they produce disc and insert it, they cannot match up to the human mind. They cannot. So the human mind it's the most essential gift that we have as humans. So one of its most important characteristics is its ability to learn. Its ability to learn. Now, there's every tendency that you learn, you unlearn, and you relearn. There's every tendency that what you think you know now, there will come a time that you start feeling, I think this is not correct. I think this is correct. I think this should be changed. I think this should be done this way. I think this should be rechecked and all of it. So your mind, the most essential characteristics of the mind is that it has the ability to learn. Okay, so all of the things they teach you in school, you can still recall them. All of the things you read, you study, all of the things you see, you do, the things you hear, the things around you, you can still recall them. Like, the mind has the ability to learn. So that is the most essential characteristics of the human mind, is that it has the ability to learn. Okay, so it's very, very important and essential. So when discussing the human mind, there are three basic areas to consider. So let's consider these three basic areas. So while talking about the human mind, we have to consider these three basic areas. So number one is the conscious mind. The conscious mind. So number two is the subconscious mind. And then the third one is the unconscious mind. The first one, the conscious mind, the subconscious, and then the unconscious mind. Have you seen someone that is in the hospital and then they say the person is unconscious, but the person is still living? Is still living, but it doesn't mean that the moment the mind is still alive. Like, the mind is still alive, the brain is still active, so the person is still alive until the brain dies. The person is still alive. Even someone that suffered stroke, it did not affect the person's entire brain, so the person is still alive. So till the person dies, the person is still alive, because the mind is still active, is still alive. So we have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious mind, and then we have the unconscious mind. So let's look at these three, one after the other. So the conscious mind, this is the part we are aware of. Just as I'm talking to you now and think with, this is I'm relating with you now. So I'm using my conscious mind. I told you that ever since this morning, let me not even say this morning, like before today, I've been so eager to host this program. Like, I've been waiting for this moment to host this program. I knew that this program is going to be today. So all of what my mind entails, I've been thinking about this program. So it is my conscious mind. So it's this part of your mind that you are aware of. You understand? You think with. It is easily manipulated. Now, someone can easily come to you and be like, look at this step of thing, look at what happened, look at this scenario, and all of those things. So the conscious mind can easily be manipulated because you think with it. You think it's exposed, so it receives. You understand? It is exposed, so it receives. So it can easily be manipulated. You can change your mind when presented with a compelling argument or perspective. Now you feel that this thing is right, or you feel it is correct. Someone is coming with a different perspective about that thing. Because your mind thinks, your mind will now start skyrocketing. It will now start searching. Your mind will start thinking. You understand? So you usually feel that this is the way this thing is done. This is the exact way it is done. The best way it is done. Everything that is entails is done this way. You understand? But someone is coming with a compelling argument. And you're going to think, you're going to change. So it is easily manipulated, the conscious mind. So you think you know something, and then there is something that children do a lot. Yeah, children. Now, whatever their teacher teach them in school, whatever their teacher teach them, if they come home and you're trying to tell them something else aside what they were taught, you're pouring water on a rock. I've seen it with a lot of children. It is that particular one that their madam stick to. That particular thing that their madam taught them. That's what they stick to. That's what every one of them stick to. So imagine that kind of thing. So no matter how you try to be like, your teacher did not tell you that this thing is supposed to be like this. Your teacher did not tell you that this thing is done this way. Your teacher did not tell you that this thing is supposed to be. It is the one their teacher taught them that they would do. Now, if they give them assignments, like they give them assignments, or they gave them a work to do, and then you're trying to do it outside of how their teacher taught them, they will not accept. I have seen it with children. I don't know about the kids around you, but I have seen it with children. So it is the part of our mind we are most familiar with. It is the part that's the conscious mind. It's the part of our mind that we are most familiar with. Understand? So when someone is talking to you and the person will be like, my mind, the person is referring to the conscious mind, because consciously the person is speaking about that thing. So I'm talking to you now, I'm referring to the human mind. I am speaking from the conscious mind because I am consciously speaking about the human mind. So I'm speaking from the conscious mind. Now, if I'm thinking right now, as I'm speaking to you, what I want to say, the things I am saying, all of what is coming to me is from the conscious mind because I use it to think. So is this part of your mind that you are aware of? You are aware of. You're discussing with someone and you're saying, my mind. You're saying this. I was talking to you about my morning exercise routine, and I was telling you how I would wake up feeling exhausted, but yet I will still continue because my mind has accepted that this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, and this is what I will continue to do. So it's like from every aspect you are aware of it because this is a mind that you are aware of and you think with. Now the next one is this unconscious mind. Yeah, the unconscious mind. Now, is the creator of dreams. Its job is to sort and organize the millions of pieces of data you've been exposed to. Now, the whole of today, you've had a lot of activities from morning till now. I went to church. Okay, before I went to church, I did one or two. I did one or two and I left for service. I went to service. All of what we did in service today, I came back. I've seen a movie. I laid down, right? Yeah. I laid down and I've done other things. I've been online too. I've searched. I've made uploads and all of those things. Yeah. So all of it now, it is now the work of the unconscious mind to sort and organize these millions of data that goes through my everyday life, like the everyday activity, all of the things that are being put in place, all of the things that makes up my day. It is now the duty or the work of the unconscious mind to sort these things out. So it is the creator of dreams. It sorts and organizes the millions of pieces of data you've been exposed to. It sorts and organizes them. Like, okay, let's say there's something that has happened in your life maybe over 10 years ago, and you can remember them. Now your unconscious mind sorts these things out. It sorts these things out. Now, like normally, the way you are, you might feel, there's something I used to remember particularly. I cannot like pinpoint this thing like when it happened, but I used to remember that something like this happened to me at a very tender age. I don't know when exactly, what age and all of it, but I can tell that this thing happened. And then I'll be like, at this age, how come I can still remember this thing? Like it was not five. I cannot say it was 5 years. It was not. I think it's below 5 years, but I can still remember exactly how this thing happened, how it took place. So your unconscious mind, its job is to sort and organize the millions of pieces of data you've been exposed to. It could be the ones that have happened 20 years ago. It could be the ones that have happened. It could be the ones that happened today. Now you're going you're going to bed. You've gone to bed, and then you wake up the next morning. Because of the things that your mind have sorted and organized, you are seeing a lot of things, a lot of activities, or a lot of happenings because your unconscious mind, that moment you are sleeping, your unconscious mind has sorted those things and organized them. All right. So your senses do still register things while you are sleeping, even if you are not consciously aware of them. Now your senses will still register these things even when you're sleeping. So you might not really be aware of them, but your senses will still relate to these things because these are the activities that took place during the day or in time past. You understand? So subconscious mind, which is the third one, It's the most complicated but most important. The most complicated but most important. Remember the first one we say is the part that we are aware of. Is the part that we are aware of. Someone can be talking to you and the person will refer to the mind. The person is talking about the conscious mind, because that one particularly, the person is aware of it. The person is consciously aware of it. But subconscious mind, it is most complicated but most important. This is where mental programs are created. Mental programs, this is where they are created. Now, when I was talking about when your mental health is being manipulated, or when your mental health is being affected. It affects your entire being. It affects everything about you, your mental health. Like, if it is affected, everything about you is being tampered with. So this is where mental programs are created. That's why it says it is the most complicated but most important, your subconscious mind. Now, these mental programs that are created here, they are also carried out, and whatever that affects you mentally will disorganize your entire being. Anything that affects you mentally would disorganize your entire being. It's not something to say, I've seen a lot of persons say, oh, my mental health, this one, that one, this one. We have therapists. You understand? Have therapists. We have a lot of people that, psychologists, people that deal with the human mind, people that talk about the human mind, people that help you to heal from anxiety, depression, and all of it. So that subconscious mind, where all of these mental programs are being created, all of these mental programs are being created, it is very, very important that you guide it with all of what you can entail, like with all of what you have. It is very, very essential that you guide it. You guide your mental health, your subconscious mind, where all of these mental programs are created. Because as they are being created, they are also carried out there. And whatever that affects it affects your entire being. So if your mind is this important, if your mind is this essential, if your mind is this needed, if your mind is this, I don't know the right words to use, but if your mind is this essential, then you should guide it with everything in you. You should consciously, subconsciously, unconsciously guard it with everything in you, because whatever that affects it affects your mental health, affects your entire being rather. So that is why we'll be looking at the power and the productivity of the human mind by next week. We'll be looking at, because we have looked at the mind, we've looked at what the mind entails, and now we've looked at the types of the mind that we have, we create with, the one we think with, the one we create with, the one that sort out data, the one that organize the data. We've looked at where all of the mental programs that happen around us are being created, like all these anxieties, depression, all of it, where they are being created. Understand? So by next week, we'll be looking at the productivity of the human mind, how essential your mind is, and how productive your mind is. So by next week, that is what we'll be looking at. And it is very, very important and necessary that you understand how important your mind is, because some persons they don't just give attention to their mind. They don't give attention. They expose the mind a lot. Now, the conscious mind, when we were talking about the conscious mind, we talked about how manipulative it is, it can be rather, how someone can easily manipulate it and all of those things. So it is very, very essential that you guard your human mind. So that's when we'll be talking about what you listen to, what you like, what you hear, what you perceive. Remember, we said the mind feels, the mind thinks, the mind perceives, the mind imagines, the mind remembers, the mind wills, all of those things. So that's when we'll be talking about all of those things. So if you know that you don't want your entire being to be affected, you don't want your entire being to go through what it's not supposed to go through, then you have to guard your mental health. You have to guard your mind, your human mind. Don't forget, Your mind is the essential tool you need for that your desired change. Now you want to do something, you want to achieve something. Once your mind is made up, you can. Once your mind is made up, you can. Nothing can stop you. The moment your mind is made up, with God by your side, you can achieve it. All right. So thank you so much for being with me today. It's our weekly live stream podcast on Life Talk series, and today we just dealt with the human mind. Next week we'll be dealing with the productivity of the human mind. And I love you so much, those of you that have been watching. I cannot see you except you leave a comment, right? I can't see you except you leave a comment. If you do well to leave a comment, I will recognize you. Birds, thank you so much for being with us. And by next week, Sunday, still 4 p.m. Nigerian time, we'll continue with this discussion and we'll talk about the productivity of the human mind. So I still urge you to join us by next week. And thank you for being with us. All right. As many that come across this video, thank you also for watching. All right. If this is your first time coming across our channel, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, and don't forget to subscribe. This is Fini TV, where every program that comes to you comes to encourage and motivate everyone to do the best they can to stand out in our society. All right. I love you guys. I remain your favorite host, Young Stephanie. And it's nice doing this with you. It's nice doing this with all of you. All right. So I'll see you 4 p.m. next week, Sunday. Bye.